Well, the wonderful and outstanding WaMen King, first it retcons history, then Viola Davis comes out and slams people for not supporting it, calling them bigots. Now it turns out that the movie gives a shout out to Black Lives Matter. This movie just keeps on getting better and better. I'm Jasper Gonzo, and this is what's next.
What, are you retarded?
Hey, what's up everyone? Jasper Gonzo here, another What's Next, your daily dose. Happy Wednesday. Well, after the wonderful reviews that the WaMen King has gotten, but then of course it got exposed for retconning its evil and demonic history regarding slave trades, well, you thought, well, it just ended there. No, Viola Davis came out prior to the movie and says, if you don't support it, you guys are all bigots and racists. Now she triples down. The movie gives a shout out to Colin Kaepernick and Black Lives Matter. Wow. Give this one an Oscar. Here we go. This comes out of the Blaze. Jason Whitlock and Delano Squires expose Black Lives Matter propaganda during the WaMen King credits. This movie was a Black Lives Matter dream. There you have it right there. In this clip, Jason Whitlock and Delano Squires review the WaMen King, a so-called American historical epic about the Ajoli. The film is about the all-female warrior unit that protected the West African kingdom of Dahomey, during the 17th and 19th centuries. Still, during the credits, Delano observed a moment where he says propaganda peeked through the storyline. Quote, fearless host Jason Whitlock said he could not leave the movie theater fast enough, so he missed a dramatic pause when one of the film stars, Viola Davis, gave a shout-out to Brianna Taylor. Delano stayed through the credits and saw that Brianna Taylor reference. The movie was a Black Lives Matter dream, Delano said, but...
Delano, I think in talking to you this morning, one of the great things you pointed out to me that I missed, and it's because literally when I saw the movie coming to a
Can't see the little caption on the bottom that says, the WaMen King, Viola Davis movie emasculates and demonizes black men.
And then as I was like, okay, it's clear there's maybe another 50 seconds, 60 seconds left. I stood up, walked down the steps, started exiting the theater, and then I turned around just so I could see the full thing. And so the last thing I see are General Naniska, Nawi, the young girl, and then I think it's the tall warrior Amenza. I think it's her name. Yeah. I see those three standing and looking over all that they've conquered, and then the next thing you know, the Woman King pops up, and I'm like, it's over, I can leave. I can skip. And so I left immediately. Didn't look back, didn't want to see the credits. I didn't want to know who was fully responsible for this mess. But I think I left too soon because you pointed out to me, and please, because I can only take your word for it, or I didn't see it for myself, but there's a scene where basically after some of the credits roll, they shout out Brianna Taylor.
Yeah, that's right, Jason. I stayed because I'm a glutton for punishment, and I was already there, so I said, let me stay through the credits. And because I know the credits are oftentimes you may tease, a sequel or some part of the plot may be revealed. And as you said, the tallest of the warriors, she was there. There was a bunch of swords on the ground. Amenza, excuse me. She was there. There were swords on the ground. She was calling out some of the names of her fallen compatriots, right? So it was a scene similar to some of the ones that were earlier in the movie because they were clearly praying to their ancestors. And she called out the one lady, I can't remember, I'm not good with names, but she was like the drill sergeant warrior who got killed in battle. And there was another name and another name. And then at the end, there was a dramatic pause. And then she said, Brianna. And then it cut. And I said, yup, I was right. This is all propaganda. I mean, this is meant to demoralize, intimidate, and emasculate. This is peak DEI movie making from Hollywood. And it just goes to show that for these people, it's not about really the story or having any fidelity to the story. It's always about the underlying message that they want to push. And that's why I said this movie was BLM's dream, right? Those three characters you talked about that were on the cliff watching, that's Patrice Cullors, Alicia Garza, and Opal Tometi. The only difference is they would have been on the boats with the white people leaving because they prefer to live around white people than they do with black folk.
Wow.
Right? But that's what this
Wow.
is, Jason. This is the BLMification of the Dahomey story, and the people who will cheer the loudest are the ones who are on Twitter all the time saying we need to teach real, authentic history, but they don't mind, you know, propaganda when it suits them and it makes them feel, you know,
Propaganda
like they have
and
some sort of
retconning.
accomplishment because they can link it back to
Gotta
their
love
history.
it.
So
It's Hollywood's
this
dream.
was all propaganda from the word go.
All right, so I'm going to put my tinfoil hat on and sound like a conspiracy theorist, but this is what I honestly believe. None of this stuff is an accident, Delano. And I'm talking about Black Lives Matter, starting in 2014 or whatever year it started. This isn't an accident.
I'm not going to play the entire
Three
clip. It's
women
about
that just
5+
came up with a
minutes long.
hashtag, and it just took off organically. Someone decided, and that's why this stuff is all connected. There's shout outs and references in movies, and just like, again, I didn't even go there, but yes, the 3 black BLM leaders or whatever, that's what's being depicted, and that's why they do the shout out to Breonna Taylor, the woman killed in Louisville. And it just, this morning when we talked, the first thing you said was like, oh my God, this was a psyop. And I'm arguing all of this stuff we're seeing is a psyop. There's an organized agenda being executed to emasculate men, American men, and we're just happen to be first up.
My thoughts. I guess the reference to Colin Kaepernick comes probably in the podcast itself, which you can catch on the Jason Whitlock show, Fearless, on the Blaze. But this movie has made itself no favors, has given itself no favors whatsoever. When you retcon history regarding Viola Davis's role in the movie, and she is supposed to be a leader of women and building up these strong women, and turns out that they're not really heroes, that they're evil SOBs, because they were one of the pinnacles in the slave trade prior to Europeans, and turns out that the French fought against them to prevent them in stopping the continued slave trade. And then you have Viola Davis, who, prior to the movie, basically says, hey, if you don't support it, you're giving into the narrative that black women cannot have lead roles. That's bullshit. That's utter bullshit. Basically calling you a racist and a bigot if you don't see the movie, if you don't support the movie, white America. And then now we have the trifecta regarding her giving out subtle shout outs to Breonna Taylor, Black Lives Matter, and you must just throw Colin Kaepernick in there, well, because, why the hell not? He's part of that clown show as well. But at the end of the day, it's not a good movie. It's not a good movie. The movie would have been better had they did it on real, actual history regarding the Dahomey tribe. It would have been a better movie. Instead, it turns out the movie is a dumpster fire. And with that being said, I'm Jasper Gonzo. This is What's Next. Want to see more just like this? Please leave a comment below. Like it, share it, subscribe to it. And we'll catch you guys on the next one. Peace.